When you enter your 80s, there's a gentle, quiet change that tends to go unspoken. Not just obvious things like another birthday or taking mornings more slowly, but a deeper, more private shift inside. This stage brings both understanding and a sense of loss, peaceful moments, and now and then stretches of feeling alone. Unless you expect some of these changes, they might surprise you, leaving you asking, "Why did no one tell me?" Today, we're going to gently explore 5 tough truths about life after 80. We're not here to frighten you or make you sad, but to bring some light to these realities. Seeing them ahead of time puts choice back in your hands. You can face what's coming with preparation and quiet strength, rather than being caught off guard. We'll talk about how your group of friends grows smaller, how the body takes longer to heal, how needing help becomes a bigger part of life, how the world can forget to notice you, and how regrets can feel heavier when there's more time and less purpose. Please stay with us through the end, because while some of these truths may seem heavy, they also lead to acceptance, renewed strength, and a chance to finish this chapter of life with dignity you decide for yourself. Let's look honestly at what truly changes after 80 and discover together how to keep walking forward, with clear eyes, steady hands, and your spirit intact. First, let's talk about how your circle of friends and family quietly fades. What surprises many as they turn 80 isn't first about the body, but about relationships. The people who made your days full, sometimes they aren't there anymore, and it can happen suddenly. Friends pass on, neighbors move away, brothers and sisters don't call as often, and even people you've watched old movies or shared coffee with might reach out less. It's not a matter of caring, it's simply how time works. Still, it leaves behind an emptiness, even for the strongest, most independent folks. Maybe you wake up and notice the phone is quieter than before. Days pass with fewer invitations, family visits feel shorter or a bit hurried. Love is still there, but life pulls people in different directions, sometimes dealing with their own growing older too. Gradually, the warm, familiar voices and laughter that used to fill your days are just not as common. This is rarely mentioned to you when you're in your mid-60s or even 70s. Back then, people are still around, life is busy, there's movement and regular check-ins. But after 80, the change is subtle. Suddenly, you realize you've outlasted more people, conversations become less frequent, and this shift is so gentle, at first you may not even know it's happening. Let me tell you about Bill, who was 85. For years, every morning he'd visit the same cafe. The staff greeted him by name, friends would gather without having to text. It was a habit built over decades. But gradually, his friends stopped showing up. Some passed away, some moved to warmer states, some just couldn't drive anymore. One morning, Bill said, "It's a strange thing, sitting in a booth where everyone once knew me, and these days, no one does." That sense of loneliness usually isn't loud. Sometimes it's simply the quiet after dinner, or a peaceful walk that feels a bit too still. It's noticing the list of those who know you well has gotten shorter, and there's nothing you can do to change that. But understanding this truth means you can decide to act. You can open up to new possibilities, even when the old ones close. Staying in touch may look different. Maybe joining a group at church, starting a regular lunch with someone new, making that call yourself, or even sending a letter. After 80, connection doesn't arrive at your door as it once did. You need to reach for it. That takes bravery, but you've come this far. That courage is already inside you. The second truth, a body that heals much more slowly. By the time 80 rolls around, the signals your body sends are hard to ignore. Little aches that once faded now hang around. Tiredness isn't fixed by a short rest anymore. Sometimes it follows you into the next morning. The surprise for many is how even a small illness or injury can change your daily life overnight. One day you get up and feel well, but by evening there's a pain, some dizziness, a cough that lingers. Next, you're in a doctor's office, hearing unfamiliar words. Let's watch it. Testing. You may need to stay for a while. What you might have shaken off before with a nap now needs more care, and sometimes you can't return to how you felt before. The hardest part isn't simply the aches, it's how unpredictable it all is. You might eat right, exercise gently, sleep well, and still find your body surprising you, making decisions you never agreed to. A simple misstep on the stairs means extra weeks of taking it easy. A cold can take days to leave you drained. After you recover, you might find your balance or breathing isn't quite the same. The truth is, you don't bounce back the way you used to. I once met Susan, age 82, who was full of life. She loved her small backyard garden, she walked with friends, she belonged to a book group. After slipping and falling while tending her roses, everything changed, even though the accident wasn't serious. It wasn't the injury, she told me. It was what happened after. Weeks resting turned into months of less movement. Her confidence faded and she said, "I thought I was just taking a little break, but it felt like my body decided to stop for good." At this age, taking it easy isn't always the same as healing. Sometimes if you slow down, it's hard to start again, even if you want to. The reality is, you may not bounce back, but you can still move forward in new ways. Knowing this, you become more thoughtful about how you spend your energy. You learn to slow down, not because you're afraid, but because you respect every step your body makes possible. Health becomes something you look after daily. When you do this, it may take longer to walk, or you may rest more, but you approach it with care. Even with a slower pace, your spirit can stay strong. Moving to the third reality, needing help more often. No matter how much you valued doing things for yourself, after 80, a new truth sets in. There are moments, and they add up, when you find you can't do everything the way you once did. It happens bit by bit. Maybe you wait to reach the higher shelf. Maybe you grip the railing a little tighter. Maybe you choose not to drive in the rain. Deep down, part of you feels as able as ever. But some tasks just aren't as simple now. The hardest part isn't only physical, it's how it makes you feel. If you spent your life caring for others, needing a hand yourself can feel uncomfortable. Some folks begin to keep quiet about the things they struggle with, skipping groceries, not telling their family when they've stumbled, trying to change a bulb with a sore arm. The desire to stay independent doesn't vanish. In fact, it often grows. But independence at 82 isn't the same as it was at 60. Now, it is about knowing when to ask for help and caring enough for yourself to accept it. Let me share Henry's story. He was 86, proud of his self-reliance. He'd built his own home repairs, raised 5 children, always handled things himself. But that winter, a slip on the icy walkway left him more careful, though not hurt. He didn't mention it, but his daughter noticed something had changed. She began coming each week, bringing food and staying for coffee. At first, Henry protested, "I'm all right, I can manage." Gradually, those visits became precious, and one day he admitted, "It's good not having to bear everything by myself." That's an important lesson. Taking help isn't defeat, it's wisdom. Letting family lend a hand, taking a ride to the doctor, or using a stool in the kitchen doesn't lessen your dignity. It protects your ability to keep doing what matters to you. Sometimes help doesn't come from another person. It might be a sturdy shower bar, a reminder note by the door, or a comfortable chair. These little things help you hold on to your independence. At this time of life, saying, "I would appreciate some help," may be the bravest thing you can do. The older you get, the more strength you show when you choose safety, peace, and closeness rather than going it alone. Next comes the fourth reality, the feeling that the world starts to see right past you. As you get into your 80s, one of the saddest changes is not about your memory or health, but about the way the world treats you. Bit by bit, you begin to feel unseen, not by the people who care most about you, but by the wider world. A cashier looks around you. A doctor talks to your grown daughter instead of you. A restaurant server assumes you can't understand or make your own choices. At first, these moments are rare, then they grow more common. Even if you brush them off, they can weigh on you, because no matter our age, we want to feel seen. When you've built a life, faced hardships, made choices, and guided a family, it can sting to be ignored just because of gray hair or wrinkled hands. Often, this isn't intentional. It's a fast world that forgets the value of moving slow, a culture eager for youth that overlooks the strength and courage you needed to reach this point. If you stay quiet, it's easy to become overlooked, not from losing your voice, but because others stop paying attention. Mary, at age 87, volunteered at the local history museum. When a visitor asked the staff a question from a decade she'd lived through, they answered without even looking at her. When I asked how she felt, she smiled and said, "I'm used to it." But behind that was a quiet sadness, the kind that comes from being treated like part of the scenery instead of a person with stories and wisdom. Remember, you're not furniture and you're not invisible. You're still here, with ideas, memories, and so much to offer, even if others sometimes forget it. What can you do? You speak up. You share your viewpoints. Vote, ask questions, tell your stories, even if no one asks first. Stand tall, even if your knees aren't as strong as they used to be. Every time you claim your place, you remind the world and yourself, you matter. You are a living diary, a witness to decades, a voice that deserves to be heard. You don't have to shout. You just have to stay present and refuse to vanish. Now for the fifth reality, the ache of regrets if you don't redefine your sense of purpose. As you travel deeper into your 80s, there's a stillness that grows, and it settles both around you and within you. Life slows down, the calendar empties. The quiet gives you room to think, look back, remember things you haven't visited in years. This reflection can be sweet, but if you're not mindful, it sometimes becomes heavy. Not in loud or dramatic ways, but in the quiet thoughts like, "I wish I'd called more often," or "Why didn't I travel when I had the chance?" These feelings appear when you have time, but maybe not the energy or ability you once had. It's easy to talk about the wisdom and joy of aging, the free time, retirement, grandchildren's laughter, and those gifts are real. But so is the question that can settle into the back of your thoughts. What now? If you've filled your days with working, caring, tending, and suddenly it stops, you might feel like your purpose faded too. I recall Stanley, who was 89. He'd taught in classrooms for more than 40 years. After he finally retired, he felt proud, but also strangely empty. "No one needs me now," he told me once. But that wasn't really true. He just hadn't found the new shape that need could take. Purpose doesn't leave us. It simply looks different. Maybe you no longer build cabinets or run meetings, but you build confidence in grandchildren by sharing family stories. You offer quiet comfort to a friend when someone is hurting. You ease someone's loneliness with a wave from the porch. Regret isn't about making mistakes. We all do. It's about getting stuck in them. But when you let go of the idea that purpose is only about staying busy and realize it can be about simply being here, you begin to see you still have so much light to share with your family, your friends, even with yourself. The most important thing you do from here may not fill history books or win praise, but it might be this: waking up with softness in your heart, wonder in your eyes, and simply asking, how can I bring a tiny bit of hope today? That's not regret. That's making peace, and it's never too late. A few parting thoughts. Getting to your 80s is no small feat. You've built this time on a foundation of love, change, effort, and endurance. And with that, you face new, sometimes subtle, sometimes unmistakable challenges. Facing these realities doesn't mean you're weak. It means you are honest and have lived long enough to see all sides of life. Uncertain, unfair at times, but always worth showing up for. Which of these changes reached you most deeply? Was it realizing your group of friends is smaller, the frustration of a slower recovery, the uneasy feeling of needing assistance, the sense the world doesn't see you as much, or the emptiness that comes when you question your purpose? Whatever you felt today, I hope you know you aren't alone in this. Not as things slow down, not as memories slip in and out, not in the questions that keep you waiting for sleep, or the wonderings about what might be next. Here's something important. Even now, yes, even here, you still have choices. You can reach out, you can rest, you can ask for help. You can raise your voice when you're overlooked and soften it to comfort someone else. You can forgive yourself for what didn't come to pass and stand proud for all you made happen. This isn't the end. This is a deep and meaningful part of your story, the place where every memory, every kindness, every patient moment matters more than ever. Your presence, your calm, your outlook, these are your gifts now. Thank you for listening with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment and let us know what stood out to you and how you hope to carry it forward in your own days. Your stories encourage us to keep sharing. If you found something worthwhile here, consider liking, subscribing, or sharing. Your support helps us continue to create helpful, encouraging content. Thank you for spending this time with us, and we're looking forward to joining you again soon.